Welcome to the Inner Huddle, the podcast for parents and coaches to help children fulfill their potential both on and off the pitch.
Welcome along to the Inner Huddle Series 2, Episode 4. I'm joined as always by my right-hand man, Jeff Bonner, and this week we have special guests with us, football freestyler and entertainer, Dan Magness. And you know we've got a special guest because we've got biscuits in, haven't we, Jeff?
That's it. Expensive ones.
Expensive ones, yeah, that no one's actually touched.
75p for 20, innit?
You know, you try your best.
That's
but,
it,
you try your best. We're learning all the time.
Yeah.
Right, I should say this episode is sponsored by SR Health, Safety and Engineering Limited. So many thanks to them. And if you are watching on the video, there is their logo up there somewhere. We did find it earlier. Oh, it's hidden in the corner. So sorry, Scott, but it's up there somewhere. I'm sure you can see it. Right, so Dan, how are we?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Yeah, good to be here and good to see you boys again. So, yeah.
Known you quite a long time now, haven't I, Dan?
It's been a while, mate. It's been a while, definitely.
Back a few years.
Yeah.
Right, for the incredible people that might actually not know who you are, Dan, how do we describe you? Football freestyler, entertainer, that's what I always say.
Yeah, I'd say, football freestyler and entertainer. I mean, I've been doing it a long time. I'd say that I kind of, don't take the freestyle quite as seriously as I used to, but more about the entertainment stuff these days. But yeah, that's kind of how you would describe me, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe when you started your freestyle was a bit more serious, and now it's a lot more fun. And your shows, I think that shows in your shows. It's all very fun, upbeat, and the kids love it. The Pezzers kids, you come and visit us every now and again, and the kids absolutely love it. And we had you on a holiday camp recently, didn't we? So
yeah, it was decent.
To be fair.
Yeah, it was good.
Right, I have taken some bits here from your website.
Yeah. Needs updating a bit.
Yeah, just probably does. Yeah, you've probably done a lot more. It says here. But it says here, in 2009, Dan became the first person in the world to keep a ball in the air for 24 hours without dropping it. This amazing feat was followed by a few months later by a grueling 36-mile walk across London in January 2010, keeping a football up the whole time. In June 2010, you extended your 24-hour record by 2 whole hours, raising the bar for other freestylers to strive towards. And then there's more. In 2012, Dan smashed another record by walking from Wembley Stadium to Old Trafford, keeping a ball up the whole time. This grueling 210-mile journey took him 11 days and burned approximately 8,000 calories per day.
Yeah.
It's an amazing little ripple, Jeff.
Cheers, mate. Cheers, boys.
Amazing. Well, my first question is why, really?
Well, yeah, I asked myself the same one. I think I loved it. Like, I always loved juggling the ball from a kid. Always kind of wanted to push myself and realised I was pretty good at it from a young age, and decided that if I was going to do it, I would see how kind of far I could take it, really. So these sort of challenges come up, and I was always like, if you put your mind to something, you can do it type thing. So I just decided to go for it and thought that, I'd do my best, and managed to break some records. I know that the 24-hour one was held for a long time by a Brazilian guy. He did it for, I think, 19 and a half hours. So I thought us English boys can beat that. So I thought I'd take it up to 24 and become the first person to do that. So
that can never be taken away from you.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. It's a nice little benchmark. And then obviously, then the 26-hour one after that, I thought I'd break my own record. They replicated it. So I don't know if you're aware, when we did it inside a big glass box in London.
Yeah, I've seen some
in Covent Garden. It was sponsored by Sony PlayStation, and they built us this big glass box, and obviously it was quite nerve-wracking going in there to do it. I thought if I fluff it up after 10 touches, it's not going to be good. So it was a big old setup, and then obviously managed to smash that one, and then go out the next year. We did the same thing in Hong Kong again, different company, big glass box, a big shopping area there, and went and did that. So it was good, yeah. Do
you ever worry that you might feel under the weather on the day, or you might have a cold or anything like that?
It's weird, I think I was kind of, I'd say, like, back then I was like fearless, like I just knew I was going to do it. It wasn't even that I wasn't gonna like do it. I knew I was going to do it. Like it was not even a thought in my head that I would drop the ball or anything. It was just like. But I think as time goes on, I think now maybe I'd overthink it slightly. Do you know what I mean? It's a weird one. I think when you know, I'd obviously from the age of 9 or 10, that was all I did. Like it was football. So it was just something that I loved and I knew. And juggling a ball was like just second nature. So I obviously worked really hard towards it, and just knew in my brain that I would do it. Like
And it's not just for those feats that you're sat opposite us. It's because obviously this podcast is for parents and coaches that have young footballers, and I think your story is really inspirational for them in terms of things possibly not going how you wanted them to start with, and taking maybe a slightly different path, and the dedication and the resilience that you've had to show along the way with that. So I think you've got a great story and a great message for parents, children and coaches. So our normal format is we ask on our various platforms, I think that's the cool word nowadays, isn't it? The platforms, for some questions to be sent in. So we've got 10 questions here that have either been sent in, or there's a few that I've bunged in as well there. And we normally just plough through them until we run out of time or run out of questions. I don't think we've ever run out of questions yet, have we? But, right, so question number 1. What was life like for you growing up?
Yeah, I mean, it was decent, to be fair. Like,
Guildford, wasn't it?
But grew up in Guildford on an estate. Lots of my mates sort of live around there. Just kind of... just went to like a normal school. Found that, you know, sort of everyone would be playing football down the field, down the park, every sort of age group. You know, you'd have us little ones, and you'd have my brother was a bit older, so his mates would come down and play. And obviously I found that kind of helped, if you know what I mean. You'd become better because you'd have stronger lads and stuff. But it was really good. I mean, my mum and dad, they ran a cleaning business. So a lot of the time I would kind of, from a young age, I'd be with them in the evening. So what would happen is if I weren't out playing football, I'd be in the van. So I'd literally be sat on a bucket in the back of the van. We'd go off to a job. They'd go, you hop out in the car park. So I'd hop out in the car park, smash a ball against the wall for a few hours until they'd finished, and then go home. Because I was the youngest, you see. So obviously I was too young to stay at home at the time. So it was... All
that repetitive learning,
absolutely.
Practice without even realising what you're doing.
Exactly, 100%. That was it,
Contact time with the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Putting it into practice, playing street football.
All them touches, mate. All them touches. Yeah, definitely. It's important.
So you obviously you always played football then. It was your thing.
It was my thing from young, and obviously like most kids I wanted to be a professional footballer. Tried really hard for that, but I think that in the end, you know, I probably worked on the technical stuff too much as opposed to the other side of the game. Like I wasn't kind of aware so much of the, you know, the right eating habits, the right rest, the right, you know, being athletic, like all this type of stuff at that point. All I focused on was just play football, you know, like king of the playground, king of the streets, you know, like around that area. Yeah. If you're really, really good and you work really hard with a ball, you'll be a footballer. But I kind of, what I probably needed was somebody just to take me under their wing and say, hold on a minute, like work on this stuff as well, which I sort of realised probably when it was a bit too late, really.
Yeah, sort of getting that balance right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Question number 2 we've already touched on. So was football a big part of your family life? You said you had an older brother.
Yeah, I had an older brother. He played a little bit. He wasn't the best. He was a right-footed left back.
Just used to bully you.
He was just like a bit bigger,
I had 2 older brothers,
bit taller, faster. You know, like so it was always a tough one. But yeah, he played a bit, and my dad. It was weird because I think my parents, my dad was kind of into it a bit, but he was the sort of person that whenever you would say like. He would always say to me like, whatever I did, you could be the best at that. You could be the best at that. Like, and it was always like it wouldn't matter what I did. If I sang a song, he'd go, you could be a singer. Like it was just that. Yeah. So it was a bit strange, really, but it was kind of, it was quite interesting. But I thought with the football, I entered like a little keepy uppy competition at my football club, and I won it with 19. Which was nothing, like absolutely nothing at the time. But like, I think the closest was probably 7 or 8 or something. And I remember someone going, "You're really good at that," and then my dad said, "Oh, you're brilliant. You can be really cool at that." So the next year, entered a competition, and I did 35,000. So I just in my brain, I
Who
just
counted 35,000?
It was weird, mate. I know
It
I think they did it on time in the end. It was.
Imagine getting that job. I think it's going to be 19 or 20
mate.
again.
It was a funny one. It was in Portsmouth, and we were walking along this road, and they had like this competition. They said, the winner will get some boots and a bag and all this stuff. And I was like, and I thought, I'm having a bit of that, like get myself some new boots. So I walked along there, and I started juggling the ball, and they're like, he's not bad, him. So then my mum and dad, they knew sort of what I was about, so they went off, they went shopping, had a day out, came back, and I was still going. I must have been about like 11 or 12 at the time. I was only like really young, but yeah, it was just my thing. I think it was something I was born to do. Like I just loved juggling a ball, and yeah,
it's amazing how powerful those words from your dad were.
Definitely,
saying, like,
100%.
You can achieve anything.
Yeah, without a doubt. And,
because a lot of us, when our kids do something, we always see what the negatives might be, don't we? And
big
say,
time.
I don't know about that, son, because we'll rein it in a bit or whatever. But to let the shackles off and
just
and
go
if
for
you
it.
mix that with a bit of dedication and hard work as well towards that, it's so powerful.
You can do really well at something, 100%. Yeah, you hear it all the time, even when you're coaching and stuff. You'll see like a little lad will come over and they'll go, and I'll show him a move, and then straight away the parents will be chatting in there, and they'll be going, "Oh, he won't be able to do it." And hold on a minute, like what do you think that's going to do to it? Like he's never going to be able to do it unless of course he can do it. He might not be able to do it right now, but give him a few days and he probably will be able to. Do you know what I mean?
I get it a lot with when
it's so important, like
new kids come in and they go, "Oh, he's not the best." And they
that's it.
It's not the best, but he enjoys it. And you're like, "Well, hang on a minute, give him a chance."
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to hear that.
Bashing him down, aren't
you? 100%.
So yeah, I mean, if you can, say to your kids, you can achieve anything that you want, but you have to be dedicated into it.
That's the thing.
There is a pathway to get to there, and you can get there, but this is what you have to do.
Yeah, it's a lot of sacrifice. 100%. There's a big sacrifice, and you've got to be dedicated. But I think that the number one thing is self-belief. I think you've got to be able to believe that you can do something. But
the seeds of self-belief are often put in by other people.
Of course they are. Definitely. Yeah, without a doubt. I think that's the most important thing. I think you need the right people around you to say, to be positive and tell you that you can do it. And but obviously the hard work has to come from the individual. I think that's
because sometimes you can go too far over. I've seen it a lot of times where parents tell their children how special they are at everything they do. Yeah. And that's different to saying you can achieve this. You can achieve it doing this. Yeah. If you're so special, you're naturally gifted, you're naturally talented. Yeah. Then they tend to develop a fixed mindset and they won't try anything that they're not already good at. And that is so bad. Yeah, it is. So bad. So the advice to parents there is, let them know they can achieve anything. Yeah. It's their own potential, fulfill that. Yeah, but definitely. They have to be dedicated and they have to do all the right things. You've got to do it in a certain way, 100%. Yeah.
I'm quite interested in the bit where you said they went off and did their day shopping and then came back.
Yeah.
Did they come and watch you play matches or anything like that?
Yeah, they used to. Yeah. They always used to come to games. I think they come to like every single match I played, really. Like my mum and dad, they always came and watched, and my sister would be dragged along every now and again, and my brother and whatever, but generally it was...
And then your individual training whilst they were working and cleaning... Yeah. They weren't watching that bit though, were they? So
no,
there's quite a lot of on your own
intrinsic
for your own for yourself, not because someone's saying go and do this. You need to go to this training place, or and I think probably one of the best players we've had. Dad used to drop him off, go and play squash, not watch the training sessions at all. Really, not even the match parts of the training sessions. Whereas now we kind of see parents drop them off, come back and watch the match played at the end. Yeah, and then might get a little bit more vocal and all that kind of stuff in the sideline, even in the training.
A lot of kids who thinking training's not important because mum and dad never watched the training.
Yeah, exactly.
For you, training's definitely been. It's been the process really, for you the whole way through. Isn't it?
Yeah, and it's been a kind of a release from other stuff. I was very, I'd say as a kid, like being in for me, like I got diagnosed a few years ago with ADHD, and I kind of thinking back, I knew I had it as a kid. So sitting down in a classroom, was just not for me. Like I couldn't sit in a class, even sitting in here, you know, like I'm not great with that. I have to be up, I've got to be doing something. And I think that, you know, as a kid, it was almost my release was to get out. I just couldn't wait to get that ball, get out and channel it somewhere. And I think that's the important thing. I think for me personally, having a focus on something, having like a goal, I think is really like important. And even now, like a few years back, I'd got quite overweight and a bit depressed and stuff like that. And I think a lot of it was because I'd sort of felt like I was done with a freestyle. I've done everything I can really do. Like, you know, my body's not quite what it used to be. What next? So it's always having that goal, you know, that next thing.
You look very well now, Dan.
I'm doing all right, mate. Yeah, I've been training hard. Yeah, I've been training hard. I need to tone it down a little bit, but it's going good. Yeah, it's going good.
Good. Right, we're getting on to bit more of the serious stuff now. Who's the biggest star you've met?
Apart from you, Pezza.
Apart from me, no one can compete, surely.
Yeah, nice. To be fair,
that might be a quite personal thing.
Yeah, really, I mean, I've been lucky over the years to meet lots of stars. I mean, one thing I did a big conference in America, and going away from footballers, I was like. I was there and I was thinking, I recognise that bloke and his big white teeth looking at me backstage, ready to go out and do a big show. Loads of people there. Tom Cruise.
Oh wow.
Tom Cruise. Shook Tom Cruise's hand. It's a little.
Well, he's at the same level as me, I guess.
Yeah.
So we'll give you that one.
Height-wise, he's a good.
He's a bit better looking than me.
Yeah, that was cool. And then introduced on the stage by the Hollywood actor Hugh Jackman, which was great as well. So like they're probably two of the A-lister type people. But as far as footballers are concerned, I mean, I've met quite a few over the years, and lucky enough to work with like Lionel Messi and Pele, and you know other ones like loads of them, to be fair, which has been amazing. Obviously, when you don't make it as a footballer, you never expect to get the opportunity to do that. So for me, it was really good to actually get that opportunity.
Do you ever have many moments where you've been in these situations, like you had your freestyler TV show and you're going all around the world, and think, do you ever pinch yourself and think, how have I done all this just by juggling the ball?
Unbelievable, isn't it? I do. I must admit, I've had some amazing opportunities. And I think the thing is, I'd say that I took them all for granted. As I'm getting older, and they're probably getting lesser now, there's not as many of them. I always think to myself, I wish I'd taken that in a bit more. I wish I'd kind of, really appreciated the moments that I've had, because I have been lucky. I've travelled all over the world and met, done so many amazing things. But I think that in that moment, you're always thinking, well, there'll be another one. And now I'm getting to the point where actually, there's quite a few freestylers out there now that are in different countries. So there's, the work abroad's not quite as much. So, but it's, it has been incredible.
Lessons for everyone there. Yeah, for parents with their kids to enjoy their
the
journey.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
I mean, you've got your own son. He's
that's
plays,
right. Louis.
And, enjoying those moments too.
100%. Yeah, definitely. It is
it's
important.
It's not that long, is it?
No, definitely. It goes quick, doesn't it? Especially a football career. I mean, it's it can be out and one bad tackle.
Even just their childhood's just gone, and then you don't want to be looking back going, I wish I hadn't been that parent that shouted out from the sideline and forced them to do this and do that, and made all the choices for them, and it's gone and spoilt, and your kids suddenly at uni doesn't play football anymore.
That's something I'm probably guilty of. That's like, obviously my son plays. He's a good player, but I would say that if one thing that I think that was one of the other questions actually, but one thing I would say is that you've got to realise that everyone's an individual as well. Different things are going to motivate different kids. Like I thought, that's how you do it. That's how you get good at this. Do it that way. So I would say that at times I was probably, I kind of maybe not pushed him, but kind of give him a nudge a bit too much. Like giving him, and I think that it's important that they enjoy it. They've got to love it, and it's got to come from them. I think rather than coming from me going, get out, do them box to box runs, get that 5k done, do all the stuff that maybe I didn't do, that kind of, I think it's you've got to want to do it yourself. You've got to want to do it. You can have all the natural ability in the world, but if you haven't got that drive for yourself, you're never going to get there.
Parents do it because they think they know best, and to be fair, they do know best.
A lot of the time they do,
but they're different people.
This is exactly right.
Do you know what I mean? So you might know best, and it is the right thing that kids should do. So that's when the frustration comes in, because you know best, and that probably is what's best for your kid. Yeah. But your kid's not you, and they've got their own journey and their own motivations for doing it, and then you get conflict between the two, and then it can become not such a pleasurable experience for either of you.
Definitely.
So you have to take a step back and enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
Which, can be just bonding time with your son.
Yeah.
And special moments that you remember forever. Yeah. Not just how they got on in certain football matches and whether they scored goals or not, and whether they were top scorer and all that. You know, it's it pales into significance as you get older.
It does. Without a doubt.
Right, we're flying through these, Jeff. Normally we waffle on for ages, don't we?
Just thinking whilst you're talking then, both of you, do you think though, because you didn't spend too much time enjoying in the moment at the time, which you would do if you went back now, do you think part of that was part of your success and smashing those records and doing the things that you did, because you're always thinking, it's going to come, what's next?
Definitely.
Whereas I probably enjoy the moment too much all the time in my life. Yeah. And aren't as motivated as I probably should be at times to get on and do the next thing.
That's right.
So there's
you're like me, Jeff. We go, we've done that, and then you sort of, that's it now, and then my motivation goes a little bit to go one step further.
Mine was always what's next, what am I going to do next? So even stupid things that I've done over the years, like when I was in Hong Kong and I did a 26-hour record, I got given this football made out of diamonds, not real ones of course, but they were and it was amazing. And literally because I thought I'd do it again, I'll give it away. Like daft things like the ball I did the 24-hour record with, give it away. Some kid down the road, you have it. It's kind of, and it's random. And now I'm thinking, I wish I had all these. I wish I had memorabilia, but I didn't, because I always thought, I'll do it again. I'll do it again. And I think that probably is, like you say, that's probably why I did quite well at it, for that reason.
What do you reckon, Pez? Online campaign to get
all my stuff back.
Dan's diamond ball.
Yes, exactly. That's it.
Have you seen these diamonds?
You sure they weren't real diamonds?
That's mate, honestly,
There's someone abroad somewhere.
That's it.
Still chipping off little bits.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh dear. I have to say, I wrote here separately. My favourite thing that I've seen you do was actually riding the bike in London with the ball on top of your head. That's out of all the amazing things you've done, that's my favourite. Riding the bike down the road.
That's it, with the ball.
I think it's near Buckingham Palace or something.
Exactly.
Top of your head.
I have done some funny things over the years, with the the balancing stuff and doing all. I always try and mix it up just from to put a bit of entertainment in there, and I think the bike riding one was one that I just thought I'd give it a go. I'd have a little go, see if I could ride a bike, and
it was class. Do you sometimes wish that things like TikTok had been around when you first started out and you'd grown with that?
Oh,
it might
mate,
have been
honestly,
a different game for you.
100%. I mean,
just getting into it now must be
it's frustrating. You're digging you got to dig your way up, and it's almost like, I also find that a lot of the stuff I see on there is such tripe that I don't even really want to be I don't mind it. I don't mind social media. I think it's an important platform, especially for kids to learn and to become better players and things like that. I think it's important, but I also think that you can spend too much time worrying about that. Too much time filming yourself, too much time with this. Because a lot of the time now, when a kid does a trick, they'll go, right. You'll say, "How can you do a trick?" When we were younger, all of us, we had to be able to show that trick, so we had to be consistent at it. Nowadays they'll go, I can do that. I can do that thing on a skateboard. Look, here's my Insta. Have a look on there. But they might not be able to do it every time. Do you understand what I mean? And this is what it's like with the absolutely. And I think that although I do wish that I'd done it, I do wish I'd kind of, especially YouTube stuff. I remember there was a time when with the F2 freestylers, I was on a level with them with all of it, and then all of a sudden I was like, well, I've done the Sky bit and whatever. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and then they've just gone.
You can't do everything though. That's the problem,
Lambos
isn't it?
and all sorts.
At some point, you have to decide which route you're going.
Which route,
and that's lottery, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is, and I'm glad I've kind of stuck to my roots of what I do, which I don't try to take it too serious now. I like to entertain people and hopefully inspire them to go on and learn their stuff and the importance of hard work. And
that was the difference this time on the holiday camp. I noticed from last time. You had a lot of messages for the kids about dedication, hard work, and practice. Something who's kind of added on to the end, which
that's it. Well,
that's when I put in my head, we've got to get him on a podcast. Because he gets it. He knows
it is important. That practice is the most important thing. Like if you don't put them hours into anything, you're not going to be any good at it. Like it's as simple as that. Like you don't matter what you do. Like you've got to practice. Like if you want to be good at something.
The trouble is, practice sounds a little bit too much like hard work.
Yeah, it does.
I try to come away from it now and say, exploring and experimenting.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is the same thing.
Of course.
And
but they don't know that.
No, and that opens it up a bit more to being allowed to make mistakes. If you're exploring and experimenting, you think, I can make mistakes. Yeah. Because if you're practicing, people think you have to have perfect practice.
Well, this is exactly this is one thing that I was really impressed with your camp. I think it was the first day or second day. The thing they do in the morning with a warm up, and you just go, here's all the balls. Take a ball and just go and do your thing. Yeah. Best thing you can do, innit? Really, like, and you guys and anyone in football need to know that, because you're practicing without knowing that you're practicing. For them, it's a little kick round the field, but they're getting little touches. They're getting used to a ball, and I think that's the important thing. Sometimes you go to a session and they'll go, we're a really good side. We've got really good coaches. And you think, well, you've been in. They probably had about 4 touches of the ball in that time. Yeah. They're 8 or 9.
It's like
they don't need to be sprinting around a pitch for half an hour without a ball. Like they need to learn how to master it.
Kind of choreographed, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, they'll learn how to play football and they'll learn about the fitness stuff as they get older. But that young age, they've definitely got to get a ball at their feet and learn how to use it.
Yeah, it should look chaos, shouldn't it, Jeff? From a young age, it should look chaos. And from coach's point of view, Jeff, when we give them a ball each and say, go and experiment, explore, freestyle, we sit back and we can see who's got a certain attitude, maybe even just on the day. Sometimes I'll turn to Jeff or whoever I'm working with and go, we're going to have to lift these today. They are flat, just by giving them a ball each. And sometimes after 5 minutes, you go, these are at it today, so you can really push them. And they've without the parents saying anything to them, without coaches saying anything to them, you can just see and let them go.
Let them enjoy it, and that's the main thing.
So that would be a big tip for coaches with me. Come away from practice and say experiment and explore.
Definitely.
And you've done this since the first time I ever came and watched a session, Pez. It's been ball each, a freestyle warm up. It's actually called a freestyle warm up, which is appropriate for today.
You're free to practice your own style, is what we tell them.
Yeah. And it's always music on in the background. I just wondered how important music is to you, and when you train, do you use it or do you turn it on to concentrate? Because sometimes when we switch the music off, the kids' focus is there more because it's not there and they're used to having it there. So I just wondered.
For me, mate, it just drowns out the kids' voices. No, I'm joking.
We do it. I'm
joking.
We said it before. We turn it up with the parents shouting out.
Exactly. I think it's a good idea. I just think that having music on, they're kind of getting they're sort of lost in the moment. They're enjoying it. They're kind of
for yourself. Do you use it as a tool to help you train, or?
I would say so, but also I would say that I'll go the other way and I'll say to myself, like, I'm not allowed music if I'm training for something like a record, like a long one, because I'll say the harder it is in your brain, the easier it will be on the day, because I know I'll have music on the day. So it's
David Goggins is like that.
100%. Yeah, I do.
And if you're running with music, you're cheating.
You're cheating, and that's right. And I do agree. I do kind of. I mean, I do. Don't get me wrong. I do listen to music in the gym, and I do on a run. But sometimes I'll say to myself, right, no, no music. Like make it boring. Make it hard for yourself. But I think for kids to understand that, who are getting into sport, like there's no point doing that straight away. Like there's no going, this is going to be really boring. We're having no music, no footballs. Like you're just going to, that ain't going to work, is it? So,
they don't need to know anyway. We just control it, don't we, from the sideline sometimes. But we have noticed recently, sometimes we've had, in fact, it was by accident, we had a really good session not long ago, and we were like, that's the best one they've put in for a long time, and we'd forgotten to put the music on that we normally have, and we were like, hang on a minute, maybe they're just slightly more focused because the music's on. So we're a bit more careful now with when we put it on. So when they're doing a freestyle warm up and exploring, and experiment or anything repetitive, we put it on because it keeps a high tempo.
Yeah, of course.
But anything sort of match orientated now, we tend to keep it off, don't we?
Yeah, and I can remember watching England futsal training session, and they have the music on at the start of the session when they're all arriving and doing an arrival activity and stuff. Then when they switch it off, the players switch on because the music's
like a
gone,
trigger.
And they go straight into the coach and they're ready to learn and listen and focus probably. Which I thought was a really powerful thing to see.
Yeah, I think it's important, isn't it, having that mix of it, 100%.
Right, let's move on. Oh, this one could take a while. What's the biggest achievement of your life? So I know you've had loads. Is there a favourite or one that sticks out? Or actually, I've wrote a bonus question here, which might be the time to just throw this one as well. Is there anything that you've done or do that's really, really, really hard, but from the outside, people don't realise how hard it was to do? I hope that makes sense.
Like with the tricks and stuff.
Yeah. Or, well, any of it really.
Yeah, I mean,
like you might do something that you don't get some claps for, and think, geez,
yeah,
do you know how
absolutely,
hard it is
yeah.
to
I mean,
conquer that one.
I mean, to be honest with you, I kind of. For me, I probably need to push myself a bit more because a lot of the stuff I do now is like riding a bike. I don't really kind of see it as hard, but I would say anything control-wise where you're juggling the ball, like I think we've done it before, like the 28 touch thing where it goes up the body, down the body, around and around. Most people can't do that. You might get a few, but I would say that sometimes when you're just having that control of the ball, that's one thing people don't realise because I've done it so long that obviously to me it looks easy. Do you know what I mean? Which it should do if I've juggled the ball for quite a while. It's exactly. If I weren't any good at it, it would be a problem, wouldn't there? But
must have done millions of juggles in your life.
Oh mate, I'd like to have a counter. I think it would have blown up.
I heard Tony Bell, you say you've been punched 1.1 million times in the head or something. Yeah. So I don't know.
It's crazy amounts, isn't it? Yeah, and that's the thing as well. And I think the people, and the one thing the kids don't understand is that the hours that you spend getting it wrong. Do you know what I mean? And that's the kind of important, like that's what people don't really see. There's hours and hours of getting it wrong.
Well, that's the big message.
And you'll get one right, and then I think it's all about then going, what did I do different there? Like, what was my body? How was my foot? How was and then you know that you can, I'll try it like that, and then you generally get it, if you know what I mean. But I think
just try to get into these kids that making mistakes is part of it.
Of course it is.
Some of them, they'll make a mistake and then they'll just disappear and hide,
that's
or
it.
They'll only do something that they're already good at. And it's I blatantly shout out to them now. If you made a mistake, good.
Yeah,
right, we're going to learn from that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to.
The best players in the world probably failed the most.
Yeah,
I think there was a stat went there about Messi. He, in his great season at the Liga, when he scored a stupid amount of goals, he actually gave the ball away statistically more than any other player.
There you go, because he's trying stuff. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Different things. Yeah, playing within himself.
Yeah,
So, what was the biggest achievement of your life? I went off the question.
Probably doing a 24-hour record. I'd say, like obviously, apart from.
Is that
having,
the one?
Having the kids and all that stuff.
If you could have one, that would be it, would it?
Mrs.
You got to throw all those.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. That's it, mate.
That's a given. But it's a football podcast. So
that's it. We'll stay away from that. The 24-hour one. I mean, probably the hardest one though was the one where I juggled the ball from Wembley to Old Trafford. That was probably harder. Yeah,
I can't get my head around that.
Yeah.
You did one, didn't you, Jeff?
Well, no, I didn't because
no, he did.
I remember you doing it.
It was less than. It might have been less than 2 or 3 miles.
For local people, it was.
That's decent.
It was from Old Sarum Castle to Fire Rivers Leisure Centre. What, a couple of miles?
Yeah, I think so.
Mate, that's class.
With a futsal ball, and he didn't drop it once.
That's brilliant, mate.
But it's not London to Manchester. I can't get my head around that, which is possibly the difference in the mindsets there again, because. I know you said the other day, if you can do a mile, you can do as many as you want.
Yeah, but it's all in the head.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like I remember when I started off, I had I thought I'll be all right. I'll just do it in football shoes. So I had these like old plastic F50 Adidas trainers, and I got up. I was like 10 miles in, and then I was like, my feet are hurting a bit, and then like. Got to the end at night before we went to. I looked, my foot was like swollen where I'd done so many miles in such bad shoes.
Really?
Like, but then obviously from the rest of the week, it was like, you know, getting bigger, and I had to wear like compression socks and all sorts of weirdness just to kind of be able to get through it. But again, it was, I knew in my head I'm gonna do it. If you know what I mean. It's just focusing and saying.
Change your trainers, or did you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think they smelt a bit as well.
So what would you
recommend?
Give
those away as well.
What would you recommend as a trainer?
Do you know what I reckon now? Probably like a sort of CrossFit-y type trainer.
Okay.
I think for that, because then you've got the sponginess of having a running shoe, but obviously like bit firmer. But you've also got a bit of a football-y.
Yeah.
Or maybe even like I'd say because you've got to have a good touch, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think in the end, I went to running shoes, but I would say. Probably go
again a great message for the kids of how things don't go smoothly and you had to adapt but never took your prize. You know,
no, that's it. I wasn't ever gonna not do it, if you know what I mean. I knew I was.
You get those setbacks. In
anything of course.
You do,
yeah, exactly.
In any journey, whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And, you have to find a way.
Yeah, definitely.
What are your views on youth football today? This could be the one that we chatted about for a long time, couldn't it?
I mean, I think it's good. The level's good. I'd say the general level of the general kid in the park is lower from when I was a kid, because I don't think kids are playing as much, if you know what I mean. But I would say
when they do, it's
very highly coached. And so I'd say that, you know, I think the standard's good. I think we're potentially looking, you know, you've got to be an athlete, and you know, to make it these days. I think there's a lot of kids playing that are just, it's a tough one, isn't it? Like, I think, but I think the standard's good. Like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. There's some really good teams out there,
Yeah,
aren't there? And they play lovely football.
Yeah.
But then when you're looking at individual players, I agree.
Yeah.
You think, don't see many now that go, wow.
No, that's right. Yeah, I would say the kind of technical, like that kind of, they talk about like the cages in London, you know, where these kids are out playing every hour of the day. That natural, you know, that kind of, I wouldn't say natural because they're working at it, aren't they? But that ability, I would say, is kind of less than like the average, you know, having a good touch and having a bit of skill.
Yeah,
and
we all played in the streets and the parks. Set up
exactly. I think it's become more. Moving the ball quicker, you know, get the ball, take that back foot, bang it in, you know, like which I think it makes it less interesting for me. Like, I think that especially when you watch like elite academy sort of football, you know, they're playing like robots, some of them. Like it's just, you know, two-touch football, which is great.
But you need players within that.
I like to see a bit of spark.
I
like to see someone who will have a little run at someone or do a little bit, you know, like I find it, I'll be honest, sometimes I find football a little bit boring these days. It hasn't got the kind of character that it used to have, you know, with all this VAR stuff and all the other bits going on. So I'm not as interested in it anymore, if you know what I mean. But what you see at the high end of youth football is, you know, obviously good. Your general youth football, I mean, I don't see a lot of, but it's. I think
the trouble with parents and coaches is they want to play, say, the pet way or whatever out.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they get frustrated because the kids aren't good enough to play it.
That's
They're
right.
Trying to shortcut to that, like the adult game and what they want to play. And
that's right.
You don't realise that kids need. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of touches
before they're going to be able to do that.
To be good enough to play one and two touch.
To be comfortable enough to take it in your own box.
Because a lot of coaches will set up and go, right, we're playing 1 and 2 touch. And you think, no, you need to play loads of touches.
You need loads of touches. Give them the ball. Tell them they're not allowed to, you know, give it away until they run with it, you know. Exactly. I'll tell you a club that do that well is Reading. Okay. Or they used to. They're when my lad was there, he was there when he was like maybe 8 or something, like 8 or 9. In that academy there, I liked it because that was their way. You know, you get the ball, you run it until you lose it practically. It was a completely different way. And what you found is you just got some, you know, kids that were just really, really technical, really, really good because of they were learning that way. And it's just a different way. It doesn't always work in a game. Of course it don't. You know, to win a game, you have got to move the ball quick but you need a bit of both, don't you?
You're maximising learning opportunities if you do that.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're just getting and they've given it away.
Yeah, that's right.
If they stay on it, they learn about themselves, opposition.
That's right.
Maximising those decision-making opportunities.
Yeah.
But, you know, I see it a lot. Just want to play 1 and 2 touch all the time. You're like, well, they can't do it because they haven't spent enough time with the ball.
That's right.
And the right to play one.
It's efficient to play that way, but if that one or
It's
two touch breaks down after the second pass every time, you know, like you're not really. First of all, they got to have hours and hours of that in the bag, you know, until they can get to that. That's like, you know, like your Man Cities and things like that. You know, them boys, even your youngsters. My lads, you know, played up there a few times, and you see them, but you can see that technically, you know, they can run with a ball. They've got all the skills, but generally they know it's more efficient at that point to get a ball, touch it, pass it in, you know, like, but they can do both.
Yeah, we all want everyone to play that way.
Of course we do, yeah.
You know, kids have to be so comfortable on the ball to play that way at
100%.
a high level. When it's quick,
definitely.
You can play a certain amount of possession football when it's slow.
Yeah.
But as you go up through the levels, it's quick, and then they have to be unbelievably comfortable with the ball.
Yeah.
And if they haven't put the hours in, the touch isn't going to be there.
Ain't going to be there. So it's
There's a reason why not every professional team, even in the Premier League, plays possession-based football.
No, of course not.
Because not everyone's comfortable on the ball.
Yeah, you've got to mix it up as well. All this playing out the back all the time. I'm not a big fan of it all the time. You know, like you see some clubs every pass out the back, but you know they're dropping wide, get the ball. You know,
it's a pattern of play.
And I don't mind it, and I know I understand why they do it, but I think sometimes you just got to mix it up a bit, ain't you? You know what I mean? It's not realistic.
I think it'll start swinging back to that a little bit more.
I do, yeah.
I think it will. I think even Pep likes his goalkeeper to hit it long now and again.
Yeah,
you get other teams.
Yeah, that's
on
it.
The back
they're going,
exactly.
They're going, hold on a minute, what's happened here? Like,
you say his goalkeeper to hit it long. Have you seen his distribution?
I know, it's unbelievable. But again, imagine how many hours he's
spent pinging that.
To ping it once, maybe every 3 games.
100%.
Over the
you
top.
can find footage of him practicing his sidewinder volleys to his goalkeeping coach on the. That's over the halfway line and just picking them out every single time.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's a lot of goalkeeper coaches are worried about goalkeepers' distribution now because all these youth teams are trying to play out from the back. So they put it on the floor and pass it, or they roll it out.
Yeah.
It's that art of the sidewinder, I call it. Pinging it 40 yards to someone, it's going to be gone from the game.
It's going to be dead. Yeah, definitely.
No one's allowed to do it, and no one's trying to do it. So
no.
You're not practicing. I don't ever see a kid down the park goalkeeper try to ping a ball from his hands.
No, of course not. No,
it's not part of the game anymore.
No.
So
that's it.
You've got to be careful with these things because
I think mixing it up in football. That's why as a player, I think Messi's brilliant because you've got that. When he plays, sometimes you'll see him and you think he ain't done nothing. Like he's walking around and then it will just be a one touch pass. But the next time he gets it, it's that kind of that quick, slow, quick. It's that kind of mixing it up all the time is what makes players special. That's the word I was looking for.
We say
it is unpredictable, mate.
Try and be unpredictable.
Absolutely. If you've got a player like that, like I remember it. I think it was. Either Bradley Wright Phillips or one of them. I played against him when I was at Molesey, and he was playing. I can't remember the team. Might have been like QPR or something like that. And literally, he was like just moving all the time. You know, like you're trying to mark someone. You felt sick after about 5 minutes because all he's doing is 1 minute he's behind you, then he's pinching you, then he's over here, then he's like, and you literally just going like this because he's just unpredictable, and that's. Same with a lot of sports, I think, where it's competitive against each other. If you're, they don't know what you're going to do.
Boxers changing their style.
Absolutely.
Switching up from southpaw to orthodox.
You look at Nassim back in the day. It was like,
just think, because then you can't plan.
Even Fury's great like that, isn't he? Like all this like head movement, looking like a woodpecker. He's class.
Some of these teams must look at each other and think that they're easy to play against each other, and
that's
then
right.
You get a dull game then, don't you?
Yeah, that's it.
They're both easy to play against. You've not got those players who are willing to do something a bit different.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know, your Ginolas, McManamans, going back
JJ Okocha was the one I used to love him.
Yeah.
JJ Okocha.
Gosh, showing our age a bit now.
I know, it's bad. The kids are going, what?
A freestyler playing football, wasn't he, JJ Okocha?
Oh, he's brilliant.
Yes. Well, Ronaldinho was to a certain extent as well, and he was one of my all-time favourites. Talk about unpredictable.
Class,
when he was at PSG early on, he had pace as well. He used to go at players and
unplayable at times when he just a joke.
not just say to the kids today, if if you've got pace and you like the ball over the top, come short a few times.
Yeah, exactly.
Guessing, and
mix it up, and then go.
Don't always go.
Oh, I'm gonna got the legs on you every time.
Yeah.
It don't need to be like that. Like,
you know, and if you like taking players on and you're good at it, play 1 and 2 touch for a while, and then go
and do it. Absolutely, that's exactly it.
Get yourself a bit of space to do what you can do best. So be unpredictable. Another lesson there. Right, question number 7. We touched on this a little bit, but is there anything you would have done differently in regards to your son's football? Do you want to give us a bit of background of that? Was at Sheffield United?
So Louis was at, he started off doing like Chelsea when he was really little, and then went over to Reading, played there for a while, then signed for Sheffield United.
So it was a full youth contract,
full
wasn't
youth
it?
contract. But he stayed there. I think he was there for 4 years. Did really well. Obviously,
goal scorer, wasn't he? Yeah,
good goal scorer. And I'm talking about him like he's not playing anymore. He still plays, but then I'll be honest. It kind of, I think he just got a little bit sad with it. I think just a bit. He'd done it too much. Probably too much football too young. But now he's playing. He said like last year. He said he was. He decided that he wanted to come away from football for a bit, so he went out, tried a bit of boxing, did a few different things, and then said, I want to go back to it. Signed at Mansfield Town, really enjoyed it there, and then but then said, after a few months, said, I'm enjoying it, but it's not really for me again. I want to go and play with my mates. Signed, and he said, I want to win the league and the cup for my mate's dad, and at first again, you're thinking
intrinsic reasons,
you've got and the thing is, from my point of view, I'm thinking, but you've got like a contract there at a club, you
don't throw it away,
don't throw it away, and and you're thinking that's how you feel, isn't it? Like you kind of, but obviously you forget. Sometimes you've got to put yourself back to them days of playing. And like how serious it was, like going to training, and you've got a load of kids that want your shirt all the time. You've always got new trialists coming in every week. That sometimes they just want to have a season where they just go and enjoy it. And he played Matlock Town this year, and he done well. He's like top scorer in the league. They won the league and the cup, so they haven't done too bad. And then and he's probably had, I would say, the most fun season that he's had since playing football, and I think that's the important thing,
I often feel sorry. I don't know, sorry is the right word, but feel for some of the kids in pro academies because they miss out on those, the team.
Them
things.
moments, so having an ice cream after a tournament, the kind of
all those things, the tours, and because. Say you sign for a pro club and you're the best in the school, and that's great for a while. But then that plateaus out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're just Dan or Pez who plays for the pro club, whatever, and then they're all playing with each other for a team. And they're winning cups,
and they're enjoying it. They're at school when they're talking about it. We got such and such on the weekend. Darley-Dale we played for this year as well, with his mates. And they were the ones that won the league and cup actually. But they just. It's having that enjoyment, isn't it? And I think that's the problem. I think sometimes with the academy football, unless you are with that mindset, like serious, that's like, I'm going to go there, I'm going to train every day. Like sometimes you've got to you've got to enjoy it. You've got to enjoy the football. And he, I don't think at the academy stuff that he was as much as he is now. And I think that's it. And I think maybe, next season he'll probably do something again. And but I'll be honest with you, I'm really proud of him anyway. Like as long as he's enjoying it. But it's sometimes it's hard to take as a parent when he's gone from playing against Man United and Liverpool and all these other ones when he's at Sheffield to playing in the local leagues. I can't understand it. Because as a kid, that's all I wanted. I wanted to be I love that. Putting on a club shirt and going, playing against Man United as a under 12, under 13, you'd be buzzing, wouldn't you? But obviously it wasn't for him at that point. So
no, but happiness is key, and
that's right, mate.
He's still playing.
He's happy. He's still playing, and to be fair, he ain't gone anywhere. Do you know what I mean? He can still. You don't lose it, do you? So we'll see what happens in the next few years. But
it could be later down the line. If another opportunity comes up and he thinks this is it.
He's only young, mate. He's not even 17 yet. Do you know what I mean? So he's got plenty of time. But just enjoying life like they do. Yeah.
You know, we hear quite a few of these stories.
Yeah.
You know, we've put kids in from our time at pro football.
Yeah.
And they've players have been signed, and then you obviously, you know, get in contact with the parents. Like, they're getting on. Oh, they're really not enjoying it. And,
yeah.
You know, sometimes I think, well, why are you keeping them?
Yeah, this is the thing, isn't it?
I mean?
Yeah.
But it's so difficult for them because you think, well, it's an opportunity and it might never come round again.
You don't understand. Yeah, that's right, exactly. And especially when, as a parent, you wanted it for yourself.
Yeah.
You can't understand. Like, I can't understand why you wouldn't want to be at a pro club, and you know, just because everyone's dream was to be a footballer, you know. But that's how I felt. But obviously, it's not for everyone.
Difficult,
is it?
Yeah, you have to take yourself out of that. And
definitely,
it's not about me.
Yeah, and that's what I've found that hard. If I'm honest, like, I have found that.
You seem
hard.
quite cool and relaxed about it now.
I am, much more relaxed because I've just seen how, you know, how he's developed as a person this year.
Well,
you know, like what a great lad, and you know, like school's been important. It's in, you know, GCSE year. You know, like, so I think he's a bright lad because I think what his thought is that, you know, going training 4 nights a week and, you know, physio or whatever on a Saturday and playing on a Sunday, you ain't going to be able to put your all into your GCSEs, and you know, you might be able to if you're that way inclined, but a lot of people can't. Tough. You know, like I wouldn't have been able to.
No.
You know, would you? Like,
no,
it's a lot in it. Like, the thing is as well, like when you know, it was an hour away from his house. You were driving. You know, it has to be in that bracket. We were like on the edge of the bracket, so you literally go there and then come back. Like, you're not getting back till 8-9 o'clock every night, you know, like just scoffing tea and then going to bed and then trying to get up and be in the classroom learning your stuff for your exams and whatever. It's tough. It is a tough.
And then you get on your social media and see all your mates having
Yeah,
fun.
exactly. That's what I mean. Playing down the park or exactly.
Going pictures or whatever
Absolutely.
It might be.
And I think that's the important thing. So I'd say to a lot of parents, let the kids enjoy it, let them make the decision, if you know what I mean. That's an important thing. And if they're not enjoying it, no point doing it.
Yeah, I mean, but it has to be, you really have to get into their motivations.
Yeah.
And try and understand why, because we get it a lot, don't we, Jeff? We always hear parents saying, "Oh, we let them make their own decisions," and you think, you know, only because you put 2 options on the table.
Yeah, that's
they're
right.
Both your options.
That's it, mate. Yeah.
So you have to be so open and honest with
definitely.
it. And you know, I'm a father too, and I find it really difficult as well.
It's hard, isn't it? It is hard. I think everyone's different, aren't they? But it's not an easy. It isn't an easy one. But
there's no blueprint for it, is it?
No, of course it's not.
You just have to, like I say, be really open and honest and listen to your child as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if you know best, like you said earlier, you probably do know best, but it's
and it must be so tempting to ask loaded and leading questions to get what you want to hear as well.
Yeah.
I can't imagine one like that.
It's definitely not easy, is it? The old parenting with the football and stuff. It's quite a tough one at times, but it's, you know, because you never know if you're doing it right. You're like, you're always trying your best, but you're never sure.
In the book that I'm still doing after God knows how many years.
Be like Yellow Pages, wouldn't it?
It's almost like that.
Thick, yeah.
I'll be standing on it.
That's it. Exactly. That's it.
But yeah, it's there's a lot in there about this, and always remember what you want the outcome to be.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily to be a pro football, whatever it is. It's you want your kid to be happy, safe,
definitely
a good person.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes you have to check in with that and go, well, actually, which decision is going to keep him on that pathway? And that's where we want him to get to.
I think the thing is, having football, it does teach you all them things as well, that, you know, like being dedicated, being part of a team. I do think that a sport in general is so important for kids. Like
there's nothing quite like it.
There's not, is there? Especially, you know, and it don't have to be football. It can be anything. You know, obviously prefer it to be football, but it don't have to be. But I just think that you learn so much. Most of the lads I played with growing up, they've all done all right. Do you know what I mean? Where they've all kind of, you know, they're all football lads. They, you know, they knew how to work together. They knew how to, you know, talk to people. They knew how to compete. They knew, you know, I think that's you take that into your adult life, and you
mixing with different people from different backgrounds.
Exactly.
You know, learning how to cope with a little bit of banter. I know it's dodgy ground against you nowadays, but you know, just learning that about how to handle yourself in certain situations. But you know what you can say.
Definitely, without a doubt.
All these things, you know, good characteristics. And
I had to deal with that with my hair colour, didn't I? Growing up, well,
I haven't got any. So
that's it. Yeah.
I mean, I'd take it. Don't worry. Right. Cool. Where are we up to now, Jeff? Number
Question 8.
Right. How many hours do you have to practice, and what's different to when you started? And obviously you've touched on it a little bit. You don't probably have to practice as much as you used to because it's second nature.
It's second nature now, but if you want to learn a new thing,
do you learn much new things, or do you tend to?
I'll be honest, I don't as much as I should.
Do you not see anything go, I can do that better?
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird because I think that, I know how long it takes to kind of get to a point where you can perform it. Like, I'm known for being quite consistent, like not making mistakes in my shows, and I think like if I'm all of a sudden trying to do a handstand or something like that, like, I end up falling on my head. But it's I do practice the odd new thing, and it was. I mean, sometimes it could be hours, you know, like hours to learn a certain thing, or it might be 5 minutes if you see it and you pick it up quick. But it just, I'd say to master. I would say the most important thing is to master ball control, keep you up,
basics, foundations, and
But there was times when I was a kid, mate, when I would be doing it for, you know, you'd get lost in it. It'd be like 8 hours. Summer holidays, I'd go out in the morning. I'd think, right, I'm going to get to 10,000 headers today, or I'd do whatever, and I'd literally be out there. And
it's an amazing mindset. Isn't it?
Yeah, I remember once, and I always laugh about this now. My mate's dad, I was juggling the ball outside my mum and dad's house, and I was keeping it up. And I remember him going past, and he was going to work, and he said out the window, he goes, "Oh, you good at that, mate?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right. How you doing?" And then he went to work, had a day at work, came back, and I was still juggling the ball. Like,
wow.
Might have dropped it a couple of times, you know, but like I was still going. I remember thinking like, blimey, like, you know, and he said, "Are you still going?" I remember like leaning out the window, "Are you still going?" And I was like, "Yeah, like still." But it was just something that, you know, it took me away from other stuff, you know, just
channeling it,
well, I think it was, I was like obsessed, but I do get it like that with stuff, you know. Same with.
You certainly earned the right to achieve what you've achieved.
Yeah, I've done. I ain't done bad at it. Yeah, I've had a good go.
I always feel there's different sorts of freestylers. You know, you're an entertainer, and then there's some who just I've got to practice this technical skill for hours, but they couldn't entertain anyone.
No, that's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're still freestylers, and you're definitely an entertainer. I like
to entertain. I like to, you know, do the freestyle stuff as well. But I say the styles have changed a lot over the years. Like it's gone from being a footballer that maybe, you know, that football style of, you know, your Maradona keeping up a ball or shoulders.
Is that what you?
Yeah, no, that's where I would say that my style comes from. But now it's kind of lads that haven't really played football going into freestyle, so they might be from a breakdance background or acrobatic skateboarding, and they thought, I'll learn it like a ball, and it's quite interesting. Like it's interesting that there's so many different styles, but I'm kind of like, I like to think of the original. You know, if people look at it, Mr. Wu, you remember Mr. Wu back in the day, the Korean freestyler.
We've had John Farmer on as well.
John Farmer, he's a legend. Again, an absolute legend.
Good entertainer.
Yeah, that's right. Brilliant, another brilliant freestyler. Like, I think that's. I like that style, the kind of all-round ball control, keepy-uppy type thing. You know, stuff that you ain't going to be smashing it off your back in a game, but that stuff that relates to a game. Like, can you use it in a game? Sometimes now it's up your t-shirt and doing a backflip and all this sort of business. I'm not really into that, but I respect it. Like, it's all different, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we do a freestyle section, don't we, in our player development syllabus.
Oh, class.
One, because it's fun for the kids.
Yeah.
Two, they're getting loads of contact time.
Yeah.
And not a lot of what people talk about is builds their confidence.
Definitely.
Like, if I can do this with a ball, even if it's things you won't use in a match, because we get that thrown, we won't use that in a match. That's going to help my kid. And you're like, well, they're now confident. Yeah. They probably know the players on the other team can't do the tricks that they're doing, so they think that they're a level above, and they're developing a touch for the ball.
Yeah.
which has got to help you.
And I
movement,
think
everything.
Exactly. I think you need to set up for every scenario, and I think that keepy uppies and all-round ball control helps you with that. You know, like if a ball comes in from the side, can you control it? If a ball comes on your head, can you control it? If it comes to your chest, you know, if it comes from behind, can you control it? And if you ain't always going to be perfect, of course you're not. But if you've got that, you know, if you've got a good level of ball mastery, you're going to be better. And
confidence.
Yeah, the quicker you can get a ball down in a game, the quicker you can do something good with it. You know, like it's kind of, I think that's the...
And the easier it is to play 1 and 2 touch,
absolutely,
which is what everyone wants to do.
Exactly, what everyone wants to do, yeah.
Cool, right. Question number 9. How important is it for children to develop resilience, and how can we help our children to develop it?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important, isn't it? I think just in life in general, really, having that resilience. And I think that, you know, they can do that through a sport, or they can do that through anything.
Sport's
really
a great way to learn it, though, isn't it? Because there's normally a winner or a loser, or
without a doubt. Yeah, and that's it. And I think, you know, that's the important thing is that they learn to win and lose, and they learn to, you know, for me, there's too much these days of well done for taking part, which is great, and I do get that, but just turning up and going, I'm here, yeah, I'm off again, like that's not enough.
Yeah, can you imagine, right? And if you'd have gone to that competition and you'd done however many keep-ups, thousands, and someone done 4 or 5, and you both went away with the same medal.
Yeah, ridiculous.
For you, you'd be like, well, what's the point?
What's the point in doing it? Yeah, and I think that's the important.
That's the hard bit now, isn't it? With everyone
and I think
a medal for everything.
People have got to understand that. I think we've gone into this modern day where everything's got to be correct. You know, you can't say that they ain't put enough effort in, and you can't say this and you can't say that, and it's. You know, I think it's
getting this balance right between.
Of course, it is. It's a difficult one, because you know you do want people, and obviously everyone's going to have a different level of, you know, athleticism or whatever it is. They're going to have different levels, and that's all fine. But I do think that learning to win and lose is an important part of life, isn't it, in general?
Yeah, I think schools, certainly some of the ones that I'm involved with, are starting to go back to having winners and losers.
Good.
At sports days, which I think is great.
Yeah.
But where they kind of switch back to it, I did an after-school club a couple of weeks ago, and they'd had sports day in the morning. Yeah. So they were a bit knackered because they'd had sports day. Yeah. But they were down, and I said, "Oh, what's wrong with you? And what's wrong with you?" And they said, "Oh, I came last in my race today and didn't do this, and you know, feeling that they're not very good." Yeah. It's like where you've switched it back now, where once everyone was getting a medal, and now it's competition, they can't handle it. The resilience is gone.
Yeah, but that's because it's gone. Yeah, but they'll soon get used to that. You know, like if they had a race every day, like, you know, like maybe it's just different things, isn't it? Exactly, find what they're good at. They might not be no good at running, but they might be good at throwing, or they might be whatever it is. Like, but it's important. I think you've got to, you know, in every day, everything you do, you win and lose. You know, like it's not a. You know, that's just part of life, isn't it? So get them used to it young. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think if you can get it into them.
Yeah, and also winning is. I understand winning. It's not all about winning. Of course, it's not. Like when you know, in learning, you've got to. You know, it's not. Sometimes having matches and not having a winner is not a bad idea. You know, like I think that. You know, almost forgetting about the score is important. You might get other wins in that game that you've completed 3 or 4 passes in a row, or you've done whatever. There's different ways of winning and losing, isn't there?
Yeah, it's just that outcome of winning or losing. Yeah, so much emphasis is put on it now.
Oh, definitely.
As an individual player, you can have had a really, really good game against your opponent, done everything right,
lost 3-2.
Lost 3-2, and then you're
all
down
of a sudden
miserable.
It's
not very good.
Yeah,
it's very, very difficult. But the earlier you can get it into these players,
get used to it. Yeah,
you have to always play to win.
No,
but you don't get het up about whether you do or not.
That's it.
You learn from it
exactly.
And move forward.
Yeah, as long as you've put your full effort and you've done your best, and that's always the main thing, isn't it? But if you've only got yourself to blame if you haven't. If you know what I mean. If you haven't prepared properly, or you haven't worked as hard as maybe what you could have.
So you look into the reasons.
You have to look into the reasons why you could. Yeah, absolutely.
That's why. That's the way. You know, people try to take shortcuts to win.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
Because I must win.
I must win. Yeah, exactly.
Because that stopped me from losing, which is a horrible feeling. Yeah. But you know, what if you learn from that?
Yeah, that's right.
I've been involved with teams that I hardly ever lost.
Yeah.
And then when they do.
It's like,
I bet it's hard work. For the parents.
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
You know.
And there's always an excuse as to why. Like,
yeah, well, it's the referee's
fault,
it's the opposition
but the
manager or whatever it might be.
I see that all the time. I see it all the time. The kids, we've won every game for the last 4 years, and we've won like. We'll go and play. I don't know. Go and play a higher level. As well, because you have to get you. Some teams ain't. Oh, we ain't been beaten in 4 years. Well, who are you playing? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, obviously you're too good for that level. You need to. The kids have to learn.
Anyone, is it?
There's levels to everything. You could find a team that would beat them. Do you know what I mean? Or give them a game. Like, it's not. It just gotta find them, ain't you? It's But that winning and losing and not giving up is important for kids as well. Like for everyone, you've got to be prepared to fail at things. But it's how you deal with that failure. It's how you do you give up or do you keep going? It's a bit like me with football, really. I didn't make it as a player. I've tried really, really hard, put in all my effort, was missing a few bits, probably weren't quick enough, didn't listen maybe enough, and didn't make it. But rather than giving up and just giving up on what I'd done, I decided to obviously start doing the freestyle stuff. It's kind of, I think that's the important thing as well for kids, is that you're not all going to make it as footballers. Like, they're not. It's going to, the percentage is very, very low. But there's so many other careers in football or in sport that you can do where you would enjoy it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like freestyling or coaching or reffing. Do you know what I mean? It's important.
Keeping the love for the
absolutely. Yeah.
A message there for parents then is if your child's losing or whatever, don't blame anyone.
No,
not the opposition.
No, that's it. You've just been beaten
by a better team.
Coach, better team. Yeah.
And just try and
work out why.
Smash
them next time.
Yeah, and go again.
Exactly.
All right, son. But it didn't go quite to plan today. Yeah. What can we learn from it? Was it because you were up a bit later last night, or was it because of the breakfast you didn't have, or was it just that the other team at this moment were a little bit better than
exactly.
us, what can we do to get as good as
and you've got to
make it all positive.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Right, question number 10, last one. What advice would you give to children about the importance of making mistakes and how they deal with failure, which is very similar to the last one, isn't it? Yeah. And we've touched on it a lot.
Be prepared to make a mistake, but just keep going.
Try and get the culture with your kids that mistakes are good. Yeah. Because they're learning opportunities. Yeah. And all right, maybe not in a cup final or something like that, but
you want them to make mistakes. Yeah. Of course you do. If you don't make mistakes, you're never going to you're going to make a mistake at some point. Yeah. So you might as well do it when you're young and
Everyone wants to see mistake-free football, don't they?
Yeah, all the time.
Parents want to see it, and you don't even see it at pro level, so you're not going to get kids there.
Definitely not. No, they're only human, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? It's not. It's important to make mistakes. That's one thing I wish I could have probably done a bit more. I've been got used to being the guy that don't really drop a ball in a show very often. Every now and again. Once maybe. No, a few more than that. But once ever, yeah. Ball was flat. No, I'm joking. No,
his excuses again.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. No, but I think that kind of got me to a point where I don't know, after that, I kind of wasn't doing, I'd think, I'm going to do that one this time, and then I wouldn't, I'd bottle it. You know what I mean? And I think that is the important, I wish I kind of had been, but I think that's our culture in England. I think I've gone to some places and I've worked with freestylers, and they'll try something outrageous and they won't get it, but the crowd will go, way, like that. I'm thinking, hold on a minute, if I did that at half time at, I don't know, Chelsea or something, doing a show, I'd get booed out the blimmin' arena. Do you know what I mean? It's at the stadium. It's a weird one, isn't it? So I think you've got to be. We need to get that out the culture. Mistakes are good, it's got to be, because then you're always pushing the boundaries.
Especially young level, get them out of the way.
Definitely, yeah, exactly.
Move on. Otherwise, just going to play within yourself, aren't you?
You're right, though, as a culture, we do like to hammer mistakes.
Yeah, you
not celebrate. Kind of bravery.
Bravery, absolutely, and that's what's got to be. That's got to change, I think.
Yeah, don't see many brave children in football.
No,
and I mean bravery to try things.
Get on the ball in this.
Yeah, that's right. They're all too worried.
Jump into tackles.
But the thing is, what needs hammering out is that when a lad does have a dribble and does do a little step over and it gets tackled, you hear a lot of the time, what you'll hear is that the lads in his team or the girls or whatever it is will be hammering them for it. Like that needs to change as a culture, like in within that team, if you know what I mean. Like there's nothing wrong with
even the parents sign.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, on the
God,
side,
here he goes
he's
again. Like he's tried
again.
that again. Like release it, and it's not always. You know, like let them try stuff. And if they do it 10 times in a row, then obviously at some point
then it's a learning opportunity.
Yeah, of course it is.
So
Exactly. They know next time that pass that ball rather than try and take on 4 players. But it's
could be the next best dribbler in the world, and you're
exactly
all hammering it out of the poor
that's it
child, aren't you?
Yeah.
So
I remember, but there's a lad that years ago that I saw play. He was absolutely brilliant defender, but every time he got it, it was just pass the ball from the parent. And in the end, he became he was a great player. Comfortable coming out the back, could drive forward, like really good player. But his dad would go pass it all the flimming time, and in the end, it was like he just become a different player. All he did was get the ball and hammer it, just up the field.
Waste of potential,
and it was like he could have been I don't know what he's doing now, but he was a really good player. Just a shame, really, but yeah.
So mistakes are good. Experimenting, exploring,
absolutely.
Giving kids the freedom to be allowed to make those mistakes. But then the key as a coach and a parent is when they're making those or making the same mistakes is find out how you can help them to then not make so many in future.
Definitely.
And then it's all part of the learning process.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a good place to leave it.
100%.
Well,
thanks
for
having
Dan,
us.
mate.
Nice one, mate.
You're
Cheers, pal. It's been great.
Cheers, Dan.
Nice one, mate. Thanks
Jeff.
guys.
Thanks, Jeff, as always.
We're getting into them cookies then, or what?
We are going to have a 75 pence.
That's it. We'll have a
cookie party in a minute.
Too. Yeah.
But I should say that this episode was brought to us by SR Health, Safety and Engineering Limited. And don't forget.
Which one is it?
It's up there at the top. No good if you're listening, but if you're watching, it's the logo at the top there. And as always, remember that football's not that important, but children are. We'll see you next time.